all passed through school. When I remember when you write exam, if you are so confident of that exam, you will definitely know what you wrote. If these are things the paper, if you are so sure, if the answers are things you are 100% know, or you know, and you actually tick the right boxes and wrote the right things, you will have that confidence of what you wrote. That was exactly what happened to this lady. She came and was crying that she knows what she wrote. She is confident of what she wrote. Yet JAMB failed her. She was expecting much more than what JAMB gave her, and she was crying and whatever. I really, really pitied her. And thereafter, the next day, the whole thing exploded, and so many other people and whatever, the entire JAMB went haywire. And then the issue of apology came from the JAMB authority. Barrister, first, I don't know, do you think there is, now before we talk about the glitch, what happened to the system that actually affected about 300 and something thousand students, do you think there is corruption? The corruption I'm talking about, do you still think there is a corruption, an endemic corruption in JAMB, the JAMB office, where they deliberately fail large number of students for the benefits of some personal few? That is because if the more they fail you, the more you come back to receipt, and the more you come back to receipt means they buy more form and pay some other fees or whatever. Do you think it's for corruption purposes they fail people? Because JAMB, Nigerians have been failing JAMB for majority fails this JAMB, and there are people who have sat for this JAMB, over and over repeatedly. They keep sitting for this JAMB, they keep failing. Do you think that some of these failures are not real, genuine failures, that they were actually orchestrated by JAMB, by the system, to actually keep generating, endlessly keep generating resources for the establishment at the JAMB level, or probably Ministry of Education, because Ministry of Education they play probably a very, very key role too, that trickles down to the agencies, government agencies, other educational agencies under them. So do you think that is playing out at the JAMB office? That is one. Secondly, what is your thoughts on this issue of, okay, the man has apologized, Shehu Sani came and was talking nonsense, defending that man. The man has apologized. Nigerians should forgive him. Blah 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 blah. I felt mad. I said, anyway, for about 2 years now, Shehu Sani has never been. I just don't like that man. He seemed to have a very, very corrupted thoughts of how things should go. So I don't even listen to him anymore. So that means such kind of misgiving or shortcoming or shortfall or such recklessness or failure shouldn't be punished. It's sort of because you have apologized. That is one. Then the third one is, now JAMB said everybody, the 300 and something thousand students should receive for the exam. What? Are you serious? These people, they took their time. They had sleepless nights. Some of them starved themselves, for God's sake, to read, to study, for this. Now you want them to do the same thing, and they sat for this exam. Some of them went out of their ways to attend the exam, to get to the exam hall, write this exam. It took them it took all their attention, took everything away from them. Now you want them to experience the same thing, to sit for around, not for their own mistake, but for your own mistake. You made this mistake. Barrister, what is your take on this? Do you support that? Because when you answer that, I'm coming to the legal angle.
Yes. First of all, let me. And besides,
sorry, before you do that, remember, someone has committed suicide on this. One of the students committed suicide. I don't know if you had it. One lady committed suicide for this issue of failure. She failed the JAMB and she thought that wasn't her result. She committed suicide. So people have passed through serious trauma and are still passing through serious trauma over this so-called glitch, computer glitch. Go ahead.
For this JAMB, first of all, before we say anything, we should look at where JAMB is coming from and where it is today. To be very frank and honest, the present registrar of JAMB, Professor Oloyede, he has done a bit of a lot of work at JAMB. He has reorganized the place where in the past they were not remitting anything to government, maybe 50 million. They will remit per year. They are remitting billions. That shows you he has tried to tackle the corruption where people were just embezzling the funds that JAMB was making. Now, when you come to the exam, we have not had serious incidences of problems, actually, or failures like we had this year. This year, over 80% of the children who sat for the exam scored less than 200. Scored less than 200. And that is what brought the whole outcry. It has never really happened. The rate has never been this low. It was unusual. And what they do in the JAMB, is a CBT based, computer-based test that they're doing. So if you go to the hall, in fact, at the beginning, it was problematic for students, particularly in the villages, who were not used to computers, manipulating computer to write the exams. But they have come a long way because they have centers. Before you are a JAMB center, you must arrange computers. You must have it, what they call the CPT. It will be inspected and cleared. And students have been enlightened on it. Now, if JAMB this year comes up and says we had a computer glitch and this caused this problem, I think we should be able to give them the benefit of the doubt that it's possible that this kind of thing happened. That, however, does not take away the fact that it is their fault, not the fault of the children who wrote that exam and who had expectation. The question then is what to do. How do we go forward? You cannot, in all honesty, just add up points to the affected staff. If the glitch cannot be resolved, you cannot just say, okay, let's add them 100 marks to make it. It would not make sense. It will defeat the entire essence of test to know who can achieve a certain level of this thing. The only option, logically, is for the students, as much as it is a toll on them, the only option is for them to rewrite that exam at no further expense to them. I think we don't have any option. You cannot say JAMB should pass all of them or give them marks that will enable them go to a university level. By the way, each university has a certain level of a cutoff point for admission. And based on even the course that you want to read, medicine and other courses have higher, architecture have higher cutoff points than other disciplines. So if you suggest that because this thing has happened, unless somebody can come with clear evidence that this thing was deliberate, and I would not see why it should be deliberate. Why would somebody go to the extent of causing the glitch in the first place? They are not going to charge students again. And don't forget, in the past, it is only once a year that you write the exam. It's not as if they write it repeatedly for the government to make revenue. They only write it once. If you don't make it this year, you have to wait till next year. Yeah. So the revenue that they get from that JAMB is per year. So it is not going to be an argument to say we are doing this so that children will write again and will make more money. No. If they don't write and if they don't pass this year, you have to wait
but no,
the
hold on.
following
Before
year.
you go, yes, before you continue. Now, it could be 1 year. It could be 1 year, just like what we have, like this tax season in the US, the tax season. The accountants, the people who the tax file, the professionals who file taxes for us. That is 1 year thing. They always anticipate a time like this. That is this tax season. It's just a span of just about 3 months between January and April time, the middle of April, when the tax season will be ending or whatever. That's when they make their money. So everything, this is once a year. So there are professions like that actually they make their real resources, their main income, major income comes once a year. That is a kind of seasonal thing. So that is not, that again doesn't hold water
No,
in your argument.
let's not confuse the tax system. The tax system only puts a cap, pay before end of March.
Yes.
It doesn't mean that after March you don't pay again. In fact, after March you pay with a penalty.
Yeah, with penalty, yes. Yeah, but everybody rushes. Nobody wants to pay that penalty now.
But for the time, this is the time the law allows you to pay your tax. If you default, you still pay the tax. You can pay in September, but with a penalty. Now, the JAMB is written only once in a year. If you fail, normally around April, May, they write the JAMB every year. If you fail this year, you have to wait until the following year to write the JAMB again. What I'm trying to say is that we have not had this kind of glitch, this kind of situation. We are only having it now. And we should be able to give the JAMB people the benefit of the doubt if they say they had a computer, they had a glitch that led to this. Now we move to what do we do? Do we just now allocate marks to the students who were involved or what? The logical thing is for them to rewrite the exam, but at no cost.
What should happen to you have answered this part. You've said this before, earlier. What should happen to the leader, the person responsible for this?
I was coming to that. I was coming to that. Now, in respect of the JAMB officials that are responsible for that, I think before we rush to say you resign, an investigation should be carried out. Because if we don't, we are in the habit of rushing to do something. Let us first investigate what happened. Get to know how the glitch occurred. Is it the negligence of somebody that came to this? Is it the lack of equipment that caused this? Maybe money was allocated for particular equipment, it was not bought, and this resulted. Let us first have a proper investigation to know what happened and who was responsible, and punish the people who were responsible, if indeed they were responsible.
Okay.
But I do not think it is right to just say, okay, resign. If the person has apparently been doing a good job, and this happened, let's go into it. If the JAMB registrar has a hand in this, by all means, it should be removed. He is in his second tenure in JAMB. But if by any chance he is negligent, or by acts of omission or commission he caused this thing, he should go. I have no doubt that.
All right. My next question is this. As a lawyer, put on your lawyer's toga. I sat for this JAMB, and I am a victim of what just happened. Can I sue JAMB?
You sue JAMB when you want to go to court. You have to formulate. The important thing is to formulate the reliefs.
Remember, hold on. Let me add with this before you answer this. Remember, people have been and still being traumatized right now. Like I said, someone just lost her life because of this by suicide. So you mean no one, by law, no one should be held responsible for such kind of misfortunes against others?
It is not as simple as that. These are issues of thought. You have to have a responsibility of care on somebody, and you breach that responsibility of care before you are liable to that person in terms of damages. And when you want to go to court, you formulate the relief you want the court to grant you. That is where the problem is. People have been traumatized, yes. What do you want to sue JAMB for? You wrote for exam, you expected a result, it has not come or come in a way that they now accept something happened. But what is the relief that a court should give to you? Well, JAMB has said, look, we are going to prepare an avenue for you to quickly rewrite the same exam because these are the technical challenges we had. If they are able to prove that they had these technical challenges in the court, if they are able to show it, or if you cannot disprove the technical challenges that they have, how is it their fault that this thing happened? And why should they be punished in terms of damages? Don't forget they're a public office. That money that they run or whatever the court awards against them is public funds. It's not personal. No, they cannot be made to bear personal responsibility when they are carrying out public offices. So when you say, can I sue JAMB? I will first go to what do you want the court to do for you in such a suit? Bearing in mind that JAMB say, look, we have issues. We are going to provide you with. I'm coming. Bearing in mind, JAMB have said, we had issues. There were problems. We want you to write the exam. We are going to provide you an avenue to write this exam. You are not going to pay anything. Just come and rewrite the exam. Yes, go ahead.
So the basis, you asked for the basis. I told the basis earlier. I'm traumatized. I lost sleep. I lost time. I lost money. I lost everything. Just to sit for this exam. Now I have to repeat it again. I may not be in the right state of mind to even to sit for this exam. And what is the possibility that if I sit for this exam with such mentality or such psychological trauma, I'll be able to pass this exam, even though I may have passed it in the first place, or I'm sure, 100% sure that I passed this exam, but I was failed because of the so-called glitch.
You are speculating. You can never say you passed the exam because the result was never out. So whatever you say in that regard is speculation. It's in the realm of speculation. As far as the result did not come out, you cannot say whether you passed or you didn't pass.
No, the result came out. Now, how was the result came out? They said
the correct result did not come out. The correct result did not come out. So whatever you say in respect of that, for instance, by saying I could have got, if you had 150, you say I could have got 350. That is speculation. I could have got 100. That is speculation. And the court does not deal with speculation. The court deals with hard facts. And even if you are able to prove that you are traumatized, it will still come back. Is it the personal fault of any official of JAMB or something outside their powers, something intervening beyond their control that caused this thing? So there is a whole world of issues that you will have to climb before you maintain a successful suit. You must have much more information than what we have at this level to successfully sue JAMB. That's why an investigation will be the first thing, because it will unearth.
Okay, all right. Now, you have given me another question.
You will use.
You've given me another question. Let's assume investigation is carried out and it was discovered that someone was actually responsible for this glitch. Not deliberately. Okay, let's assume it wasn't deliberate, but due to someone's lackadaisical attitude or carelessness or negligence, this thing occurred. Probably by omission, you were supposed to do something you did not do. Or by commission, you did something that you were not supposed to do. Can the law be, can the situation be different? Is this something that one can have a lacuna
If you say an official was negligent in his duty, it means he's liable. There's
Yes.
no two way about it.
Okay.
If you were negligent, then liability attaches to you, for
Not
which,
to the government, not to the institution.
by extension,
Yes,
the
the institution.
institution,
Okay.
because you are vicariously liable. The institution employs you, you work for them. So your negligence, the institution is vicariously liable for your default, for your negligence. So they have to take responsibility as an institution alongside the official that caused this thing. But the starting point is the investigation that unearths the actual facts that happened.
All right. Because of time. Now, my next question is, can I, as a candidate, by law, demand to actually have an independent investigation into this?
Well, it depends. Again, law is never a straight line as people think. It depends on a lot of issues. Number one, what the purpose of the investigation will be. Number two, the time the investigation will take and whether at the end the result will inure to your benefit or to the benefit of what should happen. Just like a legislator that was somebody is telling you are elected into the House of Assembly, House of Reps, Senate, and somebody is challenging your election. You know, the tenure of that person is 4 years or whatever. So that tenure becomes important. If that case should overlap the tenure, the case becomes of no moment.
Oh, really?
The case becomes of no moment because you cannot go into the person has already served your tenure. So you win, but it's a Pyrrhic victory because the tenure that you would have served has already.
But why should that be when we are talking about institution here? Institution should be there. Should be, that's why it's an institution. There should be continuity, whether you are there in the person or not.
The institution conducts that exam every year.
Yes.
So if you are going to carry out an investigation that will overlap into the next exam, the law also says minimize your losses. If I hit your car, damage your car on the road, and you just carry the damaged car, go and keep it somewhere, and then sue me for loss of use day by day, you didn't repair it, you keep it for years and begin to charge me for loss of use. The law will say no, you are supposed to minimize your losses by mopping up funds and repairing your vehicle. You'll be saying, okay, I used to carry my children to school with this vehicle, but I should damage it for the next 2 years. I have not been able to carry my children. Let the court award damage. The court will say, look, you are supposed to minimize your losses. So at a point, you are supposed to repair that vehicle and continue or find another means to be carrying your children to school. So it's not going to be a blanket check forever that damages will attach. It has to cut at a point.
The statute of limitation, right?
No, that is not statute of limitation. It's different from statute of limitation. Statute of limitation tell you that you must bring a case within so time. Otherwise, you have lost the right to ventilate the case in a court of law. This one is a question of reducing, not attaching damages forever to somebody who has caused you loss. You are expected to cut your losses.
But okay, let's assume because investigation like this wouldn't. This is something that has to do with software. Investigation like this wouldn't take that much time. Obviously, I don't expect it to overlap into the next exam season. No, let's even assume. Now, let's deal on assumption. I just want to know if there is at least an iota of recourse or an iota of compensation in this whole thing. Now, let's assume, okay, first, you've not answered that question. Do I, as a victim of such glitch, do I have the right, the legal right to demand for independent investigation? One, if I have the right to demand for independent investigation, and this investigation is carried out, and it is found that truly it was a human error, either by omission or commission, what is my chance, or what are my chances?
Again, there are several, you see, I always tell people law is not a straight line. There are several issues. But what I can say in general to answer your question is that if facts emerge that show that officials of JAMB were deliberately responsible.
Let's assume it wasn't deliberate. Let's not make
if it's not deliberate. If it's not deliberate, how do you attach liability to somebody that is innocent?
Negligence and carelessness. There are some negligences and carelessness that is not deliberate.
Negligence and carelessness are brothers of deliberateness. They are not different. Doing something with your mind, or doing something in a negligent manner, all go together. They say causing death by negligent driving.
You know why I say it's not deliberate?
When you drive negligently, even if you didn't hit somebody deliberately, that negligence is a criminal. It attaches criminal liability to you. So negligence and deliberateness, they almost go together.
Almost, but they are not. Because why I say they are not is because there are people who are negligent and careless out of laziness. They just feel, okay, this is not important. There's nothing will happen. They don't have a bad intention. There's nothing will happen. But because of laziness, they just fail to do something or not to do something.
Negligence attaches liability.
Okay, that says it. Okay, that's important. So go ahead with your answer. Okay, negligence. If it is found that that there was negligence and carelessness in the process, what happened? Does the candidate have?
If evidence shows that staff of JAMB were negligent and this caused loss to somebody, that person is entitled to compensation.
Okay, there we go. So that means at least they have a ray of hope. So what they will have to hammer now is to the investigation.
You are going to court to say that by your negligence, this is the loss I suffered. In that way, the court will listen to you.
Yeah, all right. I hope the students are listening. I hope one lawyer will just come and fight for just gather the entire students and let them go. For those of you who are watching, if you're a student or if you're a lawyer, please see if you can get these students together, the parents or whatever. Try to. I think that issue of actually demanding for an independent, because JAMB will not investigate itself and come out with the truth if the truth is detrimental to their interest. So the students should demand for an independent investigation or investigators to actually take over their system, the JAMB system, to find out what truly happened. So as you heard the lawyer, Barrister Austin Manta, there is a light at the end of the tunnel. There is a ray of hope in this whole process. You may be compensated. It's a 50-50 thing. So it all depends. It all boils down to investigate the outcome of the investigation. Thank you so much, Barrister Manta, for actually spelling that out.